guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Harmony Islands. In the last episode, our tribe began to split off in two different directions, some following the bandit brothers down the shore, the bandit brothers who like to steal all of the shells from the crabbits in the ocean, and some following our hunting sisters who are looking to find food for their tribe mates and keep them all nice and safe and fed. Right now we have a small group of creatures, including Adam and Eve themselves, who are looking for a place to go, and of course Nuku. Nuku, who seems to be a little budding trickster in the making because his portrait is different just like his brother's. So I asked you guys where you think he should go, and most of you do seem to think that he would like to follow them to the left. Follow his brothers down the shore, chasing the mischief of their ways, and looking for a little bit of fun on his own. His claw will be a big help on their journeys, not only to keep them safe and sound in case any carnivores come stumbling out of the grass, but he can also grab the fish that swim up from the ocean too. The brothers have found a couple of fish in their journeys, but unfortunately they're not exactly suited to fishing them up from the water, so hopefully their brother will be able to help them instead. Now on the other hand, the sisters are going to need a little bit of companionship too, so hopefully we can find somebody else who might like to spend some time by the swamp. And honestly, Sagely Canoe Duke might enjoy spending some time over here anyway, since he was one of the very, very few creatures who actually enjoyed Adam's poison berries. So this is going to be one of our last chances too to possibly have a baby with Eve and Adam. Since Eve only has 2 days left on her lifespan, we might want to breed her right away. In fact, she might leave their newest baby, Nuku, behind with Canoe Duke. She'll make sure that he's going to keep track of him, make sure he's safe as they move down the shores and try to make their way toward this permanent nest. So let's have Eve move her way next to Adam so he can use his turn to breed with her, and then she can move as far down the shore as she can possibly get. Oh, she actually found some tiny little fish too. How adorable. This would be perfect if of course her son Nuku was nearby, because then he could grab those up for her instead. I feel like he's definitely a little mama's boy too, because he was mimicking her on the shores anyway. So just because he's following in the footsteps of his brothers doesn't mean that that's where he's going to go for the rest of his life. He might decide once he gets there and once he spends some time stealing shells from the crabbits that he wants to carve his own path too. He might decide to come around onto the other side of the waters and maybe find some fish of his own because he remembers fishing with his mother when he was just a baby, but we'll have to see where his fate lies. For now, he could make his way as close to his mother as possible. He probably wants to make sure that she's safe. And then you guys, why don't you try to do a little bit of fishing if you can? If they get just a little bit closer, you might be able to snag one up. No, it looks like they're moving away, but we do have a crabbit over here, so why don't you surprise it from behind? And then your brother is going to have to move all the way around to the other side to get it over here. So it'll turn again and we can smack it just one more time with your extra turn. There we go. So we killed the crabbit and we still do have its treasure pile of shells, or at least one of the shells. It had a very, very small treasure pile, but at least we can try to crack it open with some of our extra turns. Now Adam, I suppose you can pick up just a couple more of these poison berries and then you are going to want to follow your mate. So we'll bring him all the way down here, right down to the shore as well. And you, Canoe Duke, you are going to stay very, very close to your brother. They look super similar too. Their markings are a little bit different. Canoe Duke has the bandit mask actually, and Nuku has the circuit markings instead. So it's kind of fitting that they've been left together, and we know that he's in very, very good hands because Canoe Duke is not going to go far away from his little brother. We could possibly bring him closer to the beach though if he could dig anything up. I can't really see anything aside from the crabbits over here, and that's far too far away from his brother to keep him safe. So I suppose we'll just leave him right there so he can still pick his berries on the next turn. And instead we'll turn our attentions over to the hunting sisters to make sure that they're safe too. So it looks like there's nothing really in the area that they have to be worried about, but we do have a berry bush over here. That's a normal berry bush, right? Yeah, those are nice, normal, big, juicy berries. We don't want Kora to accidentally stick her paws into the poison berries, but she knows them very, very well because she has watched her father pick from the poison berry bushes for basically all of her life. So we're super close to the swamplands too. And that's a little bit worrying because there are some particularly new dangers in there, the bugs that we're going to want to watch out for. Thankfully, I think these creatures do have the stinky tail in their genetics, so if we can find somebody for Anime to breed with, then maybe we can pull that out and hopefully repel the bugs. I'm sure we'll see them soon enough though, so you guys can actually see them in action. For now, is there anything else that we can sniff out? We have tons of roots around here that we can attempt to dig up. We can of course attempt to crack open the shells too, but I think I want to find some sources of food that they can actually use, that we know that they can use. And oh my goodness, wait a second. I think I see the bugs already. Okay, so this might be our first experience with the swamp bugs. We're going to have to keep a very close eye on Anime. Basically, if she gets, I suppose, swarmed by the bugs, then she's going to feel a little bit tired and she'll lose some of her energy for that day. But I suppose that's all we can do for this day, so let's zoom out again and skip the turn and see if anything else comes stumbling out. Oh yes, those bugs are swarming us already. Thankfully, it doesn't look like they're being affected yet, but Kora is definitely being targeted by these pesky bugs. So I'm honestly not sure if it would be better for her to stay here and pick the berries or maybe move away. I guess we could have her come over here and settle down next to the crabbit at least, so she can still pick her berries, but she's not right next to all of these big giant bugs. Let's sniff around too and listen for a little while just to make sure there's nothing we need to be made aware of course. It looks like we don't have any carnivores in the darkness just yet, and you guys, I think you will definitely want to help your sisters out, especially since we have so many bugs in the area too. So Nuku here can make his first steps onto the sandy shores. We'll have Canoe pick up some berries for the road too, because we don't want to run out of food, and then we can scoot down this way and say hello to your little friend, our little piranha friend. He is quite interesting, isn't he? We need much higher fishing skills in order to snatch him up from the waves. So for now, he's just drifting gleefully from shore to shore, smiling away at our little critters as we wander down each of the beaches. Now you guys over here, why don't you go ahead and pick up your crabbit meat, of course. We want Eve to make her way into the nest as soon as possible. Is she going to be able to make it there in time? I think she should be able to just in time so she can have one last baby in this nest. Thankfully, Adam is a little bit faster, so he should be able to catch up to her pretty easily. We'll settle him down right in the grass just to keep the area lit up. And look at all of the fish in the water too. Oh, Eve, this is the perfect place for you to settle down on your very last day, because at least you can watch all of the fish swimming around in the water. We even have the clown koi down here. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we definitely need somebody to come over here with their big giant claws and see if they can fish up any little fish. So Nuku, you might be just the one if your brothers are going to stay in the area a little bit longer. Let's see if they can smell any shells out here. No, it doesn't seem like it. Actually, the beach seems very, very bare. After all of their conquests, they're having a little bit of trouble finding anything worthwhile. So we'll scoot into the grass for a little bit and just clear out the area. That way the newest little baby in the nest will definitely be safe. I mean, even though they are very mischievous, I don't think they're completely evil. They do want to make sure that their family is okay, so they'll at least clear out some of the grass before they go have their fun. Now it's just down to you, little enemies, so what do we want to do with you? Let's see if there's anything you can hunt in the area. No, just that crabbit down on the shores, so why don't you actually come this way so you are also not right next to all of those bugs. And we'll have you see if you can sniff out any other berry bushes too. Naturally, her favorite source of food is the meat. Maybe she would also like some fish because she did go fishing with her mother way back in the old days. So we'll have to see if she can grab any of those. Honestly, this would be the perfect place for her to set up camp too. Even though it is very close to the swamp, she would have plenty of food to choose from. So I think we might have Canoe and Anime breed once they get close enough, because their immunity genes are completely different. Unfortunately, we haven't run into any wanderers yet, so we don't have new blood to work with. Since our first generation, our founders over here are going to start passing away, we probably do want to pair them up as soon as possible. So let's see what Eve's very final baby is going to look like. Oh my gosh, it's a little daughter, her very final daughter. That's actually very good for us too, because we have only 2 daughters at the moment. Most of her babies have been males. And you know, she never actually managed to mutate those stripes onto any of her babies either, even though we had it in her mutation menu. So Seola, that's an adorable name. She looks almost exactly like her sister Anime too, except for the ram horns, of course. She doesn't have the ram horns this time, so she's a little bit weaker than she is, but she does have the claw, and her eyesight is perfect too, so she will will definitely be a good one for us to breed in the future. And not only that, but I think her immunity genes line up pretty well with this side of the island, so that was lucky. She would possibly be able to breed with either of the bandit twins if we can't find anybody else in the area. So let's listen and sniff around again. No big dangers, but I do see a mole back here, so that is certainly good for our hunting sisters. Let's see if maybe Kora can jump in there and grab it. It's not facing her right now, so if she leaps in this direction, she should be able to surprise it from behind and then pick up all of that tasty meat. Oh, it looks like somebody was leeched too. Okay, who has the leech? It must be you, right? No, Nuku is fine. Oh no, is it you instead? Yeah, I see that itty bitty little leech sticking to you, Nuku, but don't worry, sagely Kanoe is definitely going to be able to take that right off of you. And now he has his 2 turns, which means that he can make his way all the way over to his sisters with a Kanoe in tow. We can bring him straight over to Anime, in fact, and maybe they'll be able to start their family on this turn. Thankfully, we have just enough nesting material to make a nest on this turn too, and it looks like there aren't any little fish that she can snag from the water just yet, so we'll bring her over there to breed with Kanoe. We can actually gather up the little kelp piles too for nesting material. This isn't food, unfortunately, it's just nesting materials, so maybe we could have our mothers who are hoping for water-related genes pick up the algae inside the water and whatnot, just to try to catch the attention of our water deity Splash. Anime's not really looking for webbed toes though, she just wants a baby who's going to be able to survive the swampland since they're so very close. Thankfully, it does look like the bugs have moved on, so we must have been far enough away that they weren't looking to attach to any of our critters. But let's figure out what we're going to do from their mutation menus. In all honesty, I think it would be best if we had maybe the normal body in there, because with the spiky body, we're losing out on the tail genetics. So the best case scenario would be if they had the normal body and the stinky tail too. We definitely want to pull the stinky tail out of their genetics. So I think we do have access to the normal body, the medium body rather, right now. Everything else needs to be unlocked by spending time in cold climates and warm climates, by swimming of course for the water body, so all we can really do is place the medium body in their mutation menus and hope that it happens to stick. We'll do the same for Anime so we have a higher chance, I suppose. It would be really, really nice if we could pull the poison fangs out of there too, even for just story-related purposes, because of course Kanoe is the only one who liked those poison berries, so it would be really fun if Adam's legacy could be carried on through his children. We are going to find plenty of poison berries on this side of the island anyway, since they do tend to spawn inside these swamplands, if we can get around all of these thorns. So let's have Anime go ahead and breed with Kanoe, and then she can place a nest down right next to him so her baby will be very, very safe. And I just realized that he doesn't actually have the ram horns either, so maybe we do want to place that in his mutation menu. I'm a little bit leery to place anything else in there because they are permanent choices, so if there's anything else that we want to place on their babies in the future, we might want to leave that option open, because we might be able to unlock the nimble fingers before they pass away, so yeah, why don't we leave that for now? There is a pretty good chance that their baby will have the ram horns anyway, since Anime is showing them, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can maybe pull the ram horns out of their genetics. Now Nuku, you're all grown up, so you can finally join your brothers over on the sandy shores right after you get across the stream. And in fact, in all honesty, the stream might interest you a little bit more at the moment, so why don't you jump over here so you can snatch up these fish on the next turn. I mean, they're just sitting here at this point. They don't even notice that you're in the grass. Adam can go ahead and pick up some of the grass around his baby since this is his very final turn too. He's going to want to make sure that his baby is kept safe, and you guys can continue your way into the savannas, I suppose. Though we might want to have you come off this way just to look for more berry bushes. There we go. They're hiding away in the grasslands, and plenty of cactuses too, but we certainly don't need to start picking from those. Alright, so let's head over here and see what our very first swamp baby is going to look like. Hopefully this will be the beginning of our swamp line. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. He has the stripes. tiny itty bitty little stripes, and he also has the stinky tail, so we can put that to good use. We'll see if maybe that will repel all of these bugs who are starting to swoop in from the swamplands again. We have to check out his model though, he looks so cool. Oh, our newest little generation. Oh man, look at the stripes on his back too. They're so much bigger than the ones on his little nose. So naturally, I feel like Canoe's very first baby should probably be named Sage. Since he is very wise and watchful, I'm sure he would pass that down to his son as well, his entire family, and for that matter, this is our virtuous side of the family anyway. They're trying to find all of this food to keep everybody fed, so I'm sure Sage is going to fit right in. Now thankfully it doesn't look like there are any dangers about, aside from the bugs of course, but I think we'll be okay as long as we don't get too close. So we could start moving our families a little bit further. We could move Anime maybe over here, and then she might be able to breed with Canoe again so we can have another baby right next to the swamp. We'll have him use his turn so she can potentially use hers to catch that fish. Oh, that one actually didn't work, so let's try again. There we go, now she can definitely have a child. And we do have some fish swimming very close, but just not close enough. We'll have her wait right there for now since we don't have enough nesting material for a new nest. And instead, Kora, why don't you jump back in here so you can pick up some more of those berries. We don't want to forget about those, just in case any little bunnies are hopping around the grasslands too. I think she should probably push out into the grasslands themselves, since we're not quite ready to explore the swamplands yet. We'll see if we can find any more resources hidden about in there so we can really increase our food supplies. Nuku looks like he is very, very curious about this giant acorn that he's sitting on, so why don't you use your 2 turns to try to crack it open for us? Now it didn't quite work, but again, that is still going to count toward the mutation menu genetics. Now do you guys have any fish over here to fish up? No, it looks like they may have all moved on as well, so we'll have our little baby Seola toddle out of the nest so they can make their way a little bit closer to their brothers. We want them to connect with these guys very shortly so they can explore the grasslands too. We'll make sure we're picking up all the grass along the way, and there we go, we found yet another permanent nest. You guys are doing a very good job finding all of those nests for us, aren't you? I guess that's a good thing too because they are getting a little bit older, so they might want to start their families soon. I suppose it's very fitting for their families too because it's kind of like they're stealing these nests. These old homes that some other creatures made before they moved on. They're not even bothering to settle down their own nests like the creatures over in the swamplands. So I think, Anime, you're not going to be able to find those fish, are you? I guess we could have her go into the water if we wanted to, but I'm pretty sure that's going to scare the fish away. So for now, why don't you pick up some grass over here and scoot over to this side just to light up the area around your baby. And that, of course, is the last turn that we can make for today, so let's zoom out again and let's see if we're going to find anything out in the grass. It has been so quiet on this island. I mean, I'm kind of surprised. We are starting to push out the territory now though, so if anything is way off in the center, then we should come across it very soon. And not only that, but have we ever noticed this tiny, tiny strip of land over here? Way across the ocean waves. It might be a little bit tricky to get to, but that is quite peculiar. You guys still have plenty more to explore over here though. And it does look like Anime may have caught the sleepy sickness. Yeah, the sleep sickness. This animal was infected by an insect and feels very sleepy. So she's actually lost 2 of her turns because those little bugs that were sitting right next to her on this tile must have infected her overnight. So Sage, feeling very worried for his mother, even though he's only a little baby for himself, might stumble his way toward the swamplands to try to repel all of these bugs with his big stinky tail. And then she can actually settle right down inside this nest with that very last turn that she had, so I guess it's a good thing that we didn't make her wander away too far. Now, I think for their gems, I would actually like to change it over to one of the new colors, yellow. Since this is our very virtuous family, it seems like the sunny yellow color would be a good color for them. Now that the tribe is growing though, Aunt Kora still has her eyes out for food, so let's have her scoot her way a little bit deeper into the grass. Oh my goodness. And this guy is coming up right behind you, so why don't you call Nuku, your little brother over here, to try to help you out? Well, instead, you have called all of the creatures to you, haven't you? You can at least swipe up this leech before it gets to you. so we can have that little extra piece of food, but this is quite interesting. Now he can commune with the crabbits before we snatch him up for a snack. Maybe one of his secret special skills is that he knows how to call all of the creatures of the sea toward him. Maybe that's why he has those beautiful blue eyes too. Something to think about in the future, especially if that keeps happening. For now, we'll have Canoe go ahead and pick up all of this grass though, and maybe try to crack open one of these pesky acorns. Or not, it looks like he may have actually picked up the algae instead. Okay, I suppose that's fine. We do need the nesting material anyway, so he decided to do something a little bit different from what we had in mind. You guys still don't have any fish over here, so you should probably continue your way down the shore. We'll have you go a little bit closer to the beach just in case any of the fish want to say hi. Oh my gosh, like this guy! You found one of the clown koi, little Seola. That is adorable. Again, we can't exactly pick it up right away because it is a little bit tougher for us to fish. But here, Nuku, you might as well give it a try. Oh no, it's scooting way off into the ocean again. I didn't even know that we could find these guys in the ocean. That's good to know. That is very good to know. We will definitely have to look into getting those double-clawed babies though, or even the fishing tail. Oh, look at that. You would have had the fishing tail if only you didn't have that giant spiky body. So yeah, the spiky body is a little bit of a nuisance sometimes because it does get rid of the tail. But if we can possibly breed that out of our lines, at least some of our lines, then hopefully we can get more of those fish. Now, I think you may have us scared this mole away. I don't think there's any way around that, is there? We could bring you over here, but on the next turn, if we don't swipe it up fast, then it is going to scoot right back into its burrow. Luckily, I think that's the last turn that we can make anyway. So why don't we stay over here for a moment just to make sure that this mole is going to stay exactly where it is. Luckily, it's raining too, so we should have plenty of berries to pick. But we want you guys to slap this mole as fast as you possibly can and then pick up the meat too. Now let's go way back over here to see what the newest little baby is going to look like. Oh my goodness, and we have a visitor. This is a little bit more worrying. I think that is a rogue male. The one good thing about him though is that he does have 2 different immunity genes, so we might actually want to consider introducing him to one of our females. Maybe even Kora because she is getting so old. I suppose we could even try to place one of the legs inside her mutation menu, just to see if that might be able to override her father's genetics, though I'm not actually sure if that's going to work. We'll have to play around with it though. We'll give it a try. Now I suppose before we do anything, we might want to take care of this mole before this guy ends up scaring it away. So let's have Sage jump in here and give it a try. Yeah, there we go. He managed to take it down, and now we can take a look at the newest little baby too. Oh my goodness, look at this muddy little swamp baby. How adorable are you? So she didn't manage to inherit the poison fangs or the stinky tail, unfortunately, but at least she has a tail because she did get the medium body, so that is very good to see. Let's actually name her Mire too, since she looks so muddy, like she's been completely covered in all of the mud from the swampland. Now we can give Sage his second gem, but I think we're going to want to possibly leave Anime right here for now, since the rogue male is so close and we don't exactly want him getting to her. We'll have Kora go ahead and pick up all of her berries. Oh no, he's scooting away into the swamp, isn't he? He must live in the swamp then. He must be a swamp dweller, one of the locals, one of the natives, so we'll have to wait just a little bit longer before we can introduce him to Kora. While he's gone though, that is our chance to move Anime right over to this tile, so we can have Canoe breed with her again. Now thanks to that little distraction, it looks like Nutuk here gets a little bit of extra time to chat it up with the crabbits. He could come up here to at least pick up the meat though, as the crabbit follows him. Like, I swear this is just his little friend, isn't it? The crabbit is looking for him as he goes deeper into the swamp. Pick up some of this grass for us at least. And then we'll have him stay there just to make sure that that rogue male doesn't go where we don't want him to. I suppose there is always a chance that he'll try to get to one of our other females. We'll have to keep a close eye on Seola too, and look at that. I think she does have one of those leeches. Well, let's have your brother pick that off for you. We don't want you getting sick, and then you can keep wandering the shorelines looking for more fish. It seems like they may all be skittering off somewhere else. We just have this guy again. Oh, you must remember this from your childhood, huh? We have seen plenty of those on our shores. and a Seola can come over here to say hello. Oh, all of the fish are hiding over here. And of course, as soon as we run out of energy too. Well, at least we have plenty of berry bushes to pick from, so the mischief twins, the bandit twins, can steal all of the berries from this home. Whoever was previously living here, whoever made the nests, and left all of the poison berries for them too. Oh, they're probably not too happy to see that. They thought they left all of those behind with Adam, but here they are yet again popping up right beside their nests. Well, let's skip the day again and see if we can find the swamp dweller this time. If he'll stick his nose out again so we could possibly say hi to him with Kora. Unfortunately, it looks like he has gone pretty deep into the swamp, so honestly, Kora, you might have to go after him yourself. We might have to see if we can find him somewhere deep in all of these thorns. Where on earth did you go, little guy? Do I see something in here? This might be on the swamp dweller, actually. It's very hard to tell, but I think I can barely see his model sticking up between that grass. Yeah, we'll have to investigate that. If you stick your nose in a little bit closer, there he is, with all of the bugs too. So yeah, typically we don't like to breed with the rogue males because of their crippled paws. His baby is basically guaranteed to have one of those crippled paws on them. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and since he has 2 brand new immunity genes, we're also guaranteed to bring at least one of those into our tribe. So I guess you could honestly breed with him. We don't even have to wait for him to use his turn. That means on the next turn, she should be able to build her nest, maybe in the grasslands where it's a little bit safer. She could actually come back to her berry bush maybe with all of these crabbits lurking around thanks to Nuku here. And then she'll be able to contribute to our swamp family too. So far, I am very pleased, especially with little Sage. I think he's going to be able to protect us very well in the future. We'll give Maya her special gem too, her special yellow gem, just like her big brother. And hopefully in the next episode, we can also get started on our bandit line. The bandit brothers certainly need to have a few heirs before they leave this island too. It would be wonderful if we could find somebody wandering out here in the grass somewhere. I mean, there must be some sort of creature who wants to join our tribe. We just have to push a little bit deeper into the mainland, I think, because they must not be traveling on the beach. So far, we've done most of our traveling here just because the bandit brothers do love us stealing the shells so much. But I suppose it's finally time for them to really settle down and make their own home. So we'll clear out some of this grass too. Maybe that will entice somebody nearer, especially if this is where they used to call home. I'm sure they would be very shocked to find that this little band of thieves have kind of taken over in their absence. That must be how our swamp dweller feels too, stumbling his way out of the swamp only to find that everyone else is pushing their way deeper into the thorns. But maybe if we play our cards right, he'll be able to help us not only survive, but also explore this very mysterious land. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!